the President of Alliance Française in Melbourne, my friend Madame Miriam Wiley, the Consul General of the Republic of France, Madame Solène Ducot-Lamont, the Director of the International Department for Australian Indigenous Art, Madame and Monsieur, bonsoir. It's a great pleasure to be here for this is an important exhibition here in the heart of Melbourne Ports, in the historic heart of St Kilda, in this wonderful building. And it's my first local duty as the new Federal Parliamentary Secretary for the Arts, so it's a particular pleasure for me. The Eildon Mansion where we're standing dates back to 1877 and was one of the finest houses in Melbourne. I want to acknowledge the great work of Alliance Française in restoring this beautiful place to its former glory. I believe you've spent more than $1 million on this work, and it's certainly, from looking around, money well spent. Before I turn to this wonderful exhibition and congratulate Celine, the curator, for this splendid exhibition, I want to actually say something particularly diplomatic to the Consul General of France, to express my admiration for France, particularly with some recent action of France in Mali. France has a reputation as a protector of not only its own culture, but world culture. And Australia joined very strongly with France. I recently had the Ambassador of Mali from Tokyo come to Australia to express his appreciation for Australia's $10 million that we gave to support the French mission in Mali, the central point of which for me was the protection of the ancient Muslim artefacts in Timbuktu, which otherwise would have been destroyed if it wouldn't have been for the action of Paris in leading the protection of those priceless 1,000-year-old relics. Now, to turn to this exhibition, I'm obviously, as the Parliamentary Secretary, very interested in Indigenous art and the role it plays in Australian culture. The Australian Government has recently adopted, as you know, the new policy, Creative Australia, and this policy places Indigenous art at the centre of our creative consciousness. One of Creative Australia's 5 core principles is to recognise, respect and celebrate the centrality of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures to the uniqueness of Australian identity. And any of you who look around this room today and who understand the growing understanding of Australians of Aboriginal art in our general cultural understanding appreciate the wisdom of that judgment. That commitment is backed by funds to assist in development and training of Indigenous artists and to preserve Indigenous language. If I quote our Prime Minister, this policy enthusiastically upholds the fundamental place that Indigenous culture holds in the Australian story and the deep responsibility that it bears upon our nation to nurture and promote Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's cultural expressions. So this exhibition, so expertly curated by Madame Ducot-Lamont, draws attention to a story few Australians are aware of, and I was not aware of it to the extent I should have been. And that is France's role in documentation and international recognition of Australia's Indigenous art. I'd not heard of the work of 2 pioneering French women anthropologists, Françoise Dussart and Barbara Glowczeski, and their work in documenting the art of Indigenous women in 2 remote communities, Yuendumu in Northern Territory and Balgo Hills in West Australia, so particularly the Western Desert women. Nor was I aware of the rich collections of Indigenous art in France or the work of the Australian Indigenous Art Commission at the Musée du quai de Branly in Paris. And that is referred to in the standing behind me. So I'm grateful to Alliance and to the curators of this exhibition for broadening our knowledge of France's contribution to recognising and appreciating the unique national treasure that is Australian Indigenous art. We're in your debt. This exhibition presents a selection of Indigenous women's painting from West Australia and the Northern Territory, the work of a range of painters from younger emerging artists to senior painters with international reputations, such as Judy Napangardi Watson, Elizabeth Muyumi and Dorothy Napangardi. The stated aim of the international development for Australian Indigenous art is to, quote, inspire the world through Aboriginal art's fascinating spirituality, its diverse and ageless beauty, its evolution capacity, and its universality of its messages. This exhibition clearly achieves that purpose, and I congratulate everyone who's made it possible. I'll be encouraging all my colleagues and various friends of mine who are not here tonight to come and see this wonderful exhibition. Thank you. Vive la France.